Hey everybody. The title down below basically, I think, speaks a lot. It says, because a lot of people with what's been going on lately in the comics over the past year or so, and just recently, have kind of been, I guess it's something of discussion, but the question is Archie Comics protecting the franchise characters, basically the franchise players of the comic book, of the Sonic comic book? It basically says, are they protecting the franchise characters slash players? And unfortunately, I think the obvious truth is yes. They are protecting the characters, and you might say, well, why? Why is that? And it's because basically the characters of Sonic, Amy, Tails, Knuckles, Eggman, Shadow, Metal Sonic, Silver, Blaze, Cream, Marina, Vanilla, the Chaotix, that they are a major part of the games in many ways. The games are good. I mean, even Rouge, if you will. They're basically major parts of the gaming franchise, whether we like it or not. The huge parts of the gaming franchise. They're basically the characters that you are able to play as in the games when they allow it. For example, like even in a crossover game like Mario and Sonic at the Olympics, you can there's a reason there's a reason you have characters like Amy and Sonic, Amy and Rouge, and not Rouge, but Amy and Blaze, and Shadow and Tails there, instead of other characters like outside that are part of the franchise but are not game characters, like say a Sally, like an Antoine, like a Bunny, or a Rotor. And it's because these are the characters that have been established as the characters in the games, which also is quite understanding, which also I guess kind of ties into the fact that like I said, the questions right there, is Archie Comics protecting the franchise characters slash players? And it also says in the description box, are they trying to make the comic more like the games, or more like the game universe, if you will, GameVerse, as some people call it? And quite honestly, again, if they are, then right now they can't really say anything about it. I mean, if they want to keep the money coming in and everything to them, and let's face it, they got some good titles. Of course, they got their namesake selling good at times, but the one that's really their top comic seller is Sonic. And pretty much, I think those at Archie Comics feel that if they don't do as Sega asks them to, as Sega asked them to, and that's basically in recent years kind of tie into the comics, or not tie into the comics, but have the comics tie into the games. I think, honestly, in my opinion, they're afraid they're going to lose the license, and that Sega is going to seek out another publisher, another comic book publisher. And they don't want to lose that because they don't want to lose the money that comes with the prestige, if you will, of having the opportunity and the right to publish, or having the license and the right and the opportunity to publish comic books based on Sega's mascot. So again, the question in the title box, as well as the question in the description box, is pretty much the answer should be obvious. We may not like what they're doing to characters like Sally. We may not like what they did with her. Personally, I don't like it. but you know, I'm tolerating it right now. We may not like what they've done with Bunny. We may not like what they've done with Antoine, or what they're doing with Rotor and Nicole, and you know, and all the established, and some of the characters that came courtesy of the comic, like say Saint John, despite who created him or not. Like a Marino, a minor Mongoose, or even the families and relatives. You know, we may not like what they have to do there, but what they have to do with these characters is they got to cut them, put them on the shelves temporarily due to lawsuits, or whether they, you know, just, you know, not showcasing them as much. Again, it's all about the fact that this calls. This is their answer. This is their calling card. So, this is what, you know, obviously anybody beats the drum to at times if, you know, they're given an opportunity. I mean, you could have people come out and say, well, they're not doing so well, sell it to another comic book publisher and have them do it. It doesn't matter who you sell it to. You could sell the rights and the license to do a Sonic comic to Marvel and DC. It would still be the same thing. Sega would have some say in it. You could sell the rights to IDW or Dark Horse. They would still have some say in it. Or Boom Studios. They would still have some say in it. The point is, no matter who would have the rights and the licensing to do a comic book on Sonic, if Sega says, hey, we want you to make the comic more, we want you to tie the comic in a bit more with the game universe, and we want you to focus the attention and the spotlight on the game characters, whether the story of it makes sense or not, whether the story involving them or the story arc involving them makes sense or not. You know, they have to do that. So again, there's not really much you could do, because let's face it, if you were in the position and this was calling your name, you could say as much as you want. You could try to stand up and say, well, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. It's not going to matter. When this calls, let's face it, we go for it. You know, unless we have a lot of money and we just like doing stories for the sake of it, then obviously we can just stand up and say something. But if this is what's calling, and this is what we need right now to feed ourselves, to make a living and feed our families, and you know, we can't say no. We can't turn it down. We can't turn down what anybody says. And you know, that's about it. So even though the obvious answer is the fact that Archie Comics is protecting the franchise characters and of the games, and even though they may at times seem like they're turning the comic, or having the comic tie in more with the GameVerse or the game universe, the fact is, this is why it's happening, and the obvious answer why this is the obvious reason why this is the answer, I should say, is because Archie Comics doesn't want to lose what everybody's considered their number one selling comic, pretty much outselling their namesake's own comic. So, but that's basically why, you know, this is happening, and hopefully this answered that question. And I'm sorry if I'm a little off out of it right now. It's 11:55 at night. I've been going mainly all day. I've just had a little bit of a rest, a little bit of sleep. Just got up, showered. My 9-year-old nephew just got dropped off about a little while ago, and he's here, and he's watching Hotel Transylvania, and basically watching it until he went to sleep, which he did. So, but hopefully this helped answer some questions as to why it's happening, why they're doing it, and that's all I'm going to say. And God bless, take care, video response if you like, and comment if you like, and let me know what you guys think. Peace out.